Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and a very happy Saturday to you, from me to you. Happy New Year to those of you who I've not yet had the opportunity to share the Happy New Year's greetings with. What a great day it is. The Lord is so good. He keeps doing great things for us, whereof we are glad. Aren't you grateful to the Lord for another day? Health, strength, life as you know it, reasonable portion. Are you in your right mind today? You should be thankful for that. There are a lot of people who's living, but unfortunately they're not in their right mind. Some people are just oblivious to the fact that they're living in the world. They're just merely existing. And when the Lord has been good to you, you certainly ought to be thankful, right? You should be just on 100 thinking about the goodness of the Lord. The old songwriter says, when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. Thank God for saving me. So when you think about how good the Lord has been to you, and the fact, and it is a fact, that we're not here because we've been good to ourselves or that we've done it all right, made all the right choices. God knows we made lots of bad choices, right? Present company included. But through it all, somehow the Lord, and I think he's the only one who possesses the ability, excuse me, to look beyond our faults and to see our needs. If you are anything like me, you're needy. You need a whole lot. And I know that I do. And thanks be to God, who is the supplier of every need. Paul said, and he shall supply all my need according to his riches in heaven. So I'm thankful. Pray that you are as well. Well, today's talk, I want to talk about, we're talking about caring and those kind of things. I want to talk today about self-care. Self-care. Care is the number one issue in the world today. It is desperately needed from the young through citizens with seniority. Care is the provision of what is necessary for, I would say, good health, welfare, maintenance, and protection, of someone or something. That's what care is. The provider for this care is called a caregiver. Many of you who are listening, you're a caregiver. Maybe you're caring for a spouse, a relative, a parent, a friend, and maybe even someone you do not know. But the caregiver is the person who provides this care, direct care for children, elderly people, people who are ill, and particularly people who are chronically ill. Everyone is not institutionalized. Some people say, you know what, I'm not going to put my loved one into an institution. They're going to live right in this home for several reasons. One, this is where they live. Two, this is where they have lived for a number of years. Three, this is what they are accustomed to. They're accustomed to knowing where the bathroom is, for instance. Know where the bedroom is, know where the sink is. And sometimes to uproot them from the familiar and take them into a foreign surrounding area can be very, very devastating to that individual. But now there is one final position that I want to lift up today, and that is the issue of self-care. Now this is when a person does what he or she must do to ensure that their well-being is intact. Some people, have you noticed, seemingly they've mastered taking care of other people. They've mastered the art of doing that. And although taking care of others is a real chore and can be at times, sometimes it's most demanding. Some people seemingly have just mastered that art. Don't you see some people who care for others and it just seems that they do it flawlessly? Everything just sort of flows like a well-oiled machine. Some are very accurate in their treatment, and some anticipate the needs of the ones they're caring for. They can look at them sometimes and say, they're going to need this, or it looks like they're saying this. Boy, that's a gift. That's an art to be able to do that, because you do know there are some caregivers who don't pay attention to details. They don't pay attention to the ones that they're caring for. And having learned to master taking care of others, I'm going to say that's a blessing. That's a great blessing, as a matter of fact. It's a good thing. Those who've excelled in this area, I take my hat off to you. I've had the opportunity to care for others, serving as power of attorney, those kind of things. And let me tell you, the title sounds really good, but the work is, whoa. You have to be dedicated. You have to be called for that kind of work. And there are people who are in it for what they can get out of it, and that is absolutely the wrong reason. And whenever you notice that there's someone caring for you or your loved one whose attitude is, I'm just here for the paycheck, they should be fired with all the enthusiasm and energy that you and your loved ones have, because they're not in it for the right reasons. They're in it for what they can get out of it. A real caregiver should be in it for what you will get out of the care that they will provide. So I take my hat off to those persons who have the gift of caring for others. Now, let's turn to this question. How would you grade yourself? Maybe you've taken care of others, and that's a great thing. But if you had to give yourself a grade on taking care of yourself, what grade would you give yourself? What honest grade would you give yourself in taking care of you? Listen, don't argue with me. I know we say, well, you're supposed to be concerned about others, you're supposed to care about others, and you should. But let's grade the care of you by you. Do you take care of you? Are you so heavenly minded that you're no earthly good? Let me ask you these questions. Are you timely in the care of yourself? Things you should do for you, things you need to change, some things you need to start, some things you need perhaps to stop doing. Self-care. Are you timely in the care of yourself? Do you procrastinate? Do you put off and say, well, I'm going to be here, I'll get to that later. I'll do that. You take others to the doctor. Do you go? You need to. Does someone have to force you to go to the doctor? Does someone have to embarrass you? Does someone have to trick you and take you to the doctor? Are you timely in the care of yourself? Second question is your assessment of taking care of you accurate, or taking care of yourself accurate? Do you ignore those signs that says something more needs to be done, something needs to be done immediately? Do you kind of sweep that up under the carpet? Or do you say, wait a minute, you know what? This is important. And what if I don't rebound as I, procrastinate? So look at the assessment on taking care of yourself. Third is, do you have a plan for all of the moving parts? Life can be very complicated. And so there are many parts that are constantly moving. How are you doing with those things? Are you just so concerned about everyone else, make sure everyone else is comfortable, making sure everyone else's well-being is where it needs to be, while neglecting your own self? The fourth question is there a substitute plan in place just in case it is needed? We make some plans and we say, okay, I'm going to do this. I need to do this here. What happens if that goes awry? What's your next plan? What's the next step? What's the next order? Where do you go from there? You have to get from one spot, one place to the next. And so you missed the last bus. What's your plan? Do you say, well, I'll just have to wait until the next bus comes? Next bus isn't coming, because it doesn't run on the weekend. You need to be there today. What are you going to do? Let me ask you this. Fifth question. Do you have a fear of caring for yourself? So many people are afraid to care for themselves for whatever reason. Well, I don't want to be conceited. Well, then don't be conceited. Take care of yourself. Do something for you. Well, if I do that, I'm not sure, self-preservation is the first law of nature, but I think I need to be different. A sixth question, if you do care for yourself, do you fear what others may say? Now that's kind of linked to this thing of caring for yourself, because too many times we're more concerned about what other people are going to say. I would get this new outfit, but the people are going to talk. I need a new car. My car is constantly breaking down. Everyone else gets a new car, gets another car, gets another vehicle. Some get a car a year. And, you fear if I get one, people are going to be talking. They're going to say something. If I, change locations, people are going to say something. If I better my situation, they're not going to like me. Let me ask you a final question on this. Do you have feelings of guilt when you care for yourself? Big question that requires an answer. Do you have feelings of guilt? And if you do, I can pretty much assure you, 99.9%, that those are guilty feelings. But those guilty feelings are false guilty feelings. You should never feel guilty for caring for yourself. You should not feel guilty for doing what you need to do to make you a better you. Again, think about all of the energy and the time that you expend in helping others, helping to pull them up, helping to motivate them, doing what you can for others. If it's to make them laugh, make them feel comfortable, help them to become content with who they are. Should you not do some of those same things for yourself? Listen, self-care is so necessary, it's vital, and it should be important to you for you to take appropriate action in caring for yourself. I've flown on an airplane any number of times, and they give you two sets. The flight attendant always makes the announcement, as we are going down the runway, or before actually, they give these instructions while they're taxiing to the runway. First thing they say is, in case of the pressure in the cabin, if it should drop, a compartment will open up and mask will flow down. Never mind about the bag expanding. There is and there will be oxygen flowing through the mask. Put your mask on and secure it. Put your mask on and secure it. That's the first thing they tell you. Second thing is they say, then help the person next to you who is unable to perform their task, whether it's a child, a person who may have, difficulty with mobility, or a senior. If they are not able to perform that task, then it becomes your responsibility to help them. But what do they say? First, help yourself. Put your mask on. Because if you got to fight with the person next to you trying to get their mask on and yours isn't on, chances are you could pass out. So the key in that two-step process, once again, is take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, you will have difficulty in taking care of someone else. Now, when we speak of self-care, we are talking about the practice of physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of your life that will promote actually health and wellness. Isn't that what we want at the end of the day? Want to be healthy, I want to be well, and again, there are so many moving parts, but you have to travel it, you've got to be in motion. A person's well-being is not on autopilot. It's not automatic, and as much as, we may want to have a red hot prayer meeting, so I just pray and everything will be in divine order. Listen, if you are not in divine order, the things in your life will not be in divine order. They're going to be helter-skelter. Too many people suffer from burnout, fatigue, depression, and an unending list of negative things that takes place when a person refuses to take care of themselves. Self-preservation is very important to any person who desires to remain in good health. If you want good health, you have to do what it's going to take. You want a nice green yard in the summertime, spring and summertime, you've got to do what's necessary. If it means fertilizing, if it means keeping it watered, keeping it cut, digging up, the dandelions, the weeds, you have to do what you need to do in order for your yard to be healthy. Same is true with your life. If you want good health, you're going to have to do what you need to do. Get rid of what's not good for you. Go after that which is good for you. Someone said, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, right? So in other words, it can't just be business, drive, overdrive, production. You need to stop and do some things other than those things. A cook, for instance, should not just prepare meals for others and with the testimony of I'm feeding. If the cook does all the feeding, all the cooking, and never takes the time to sit down and eat, to enjoy a meal, eventually that cook is going to probably pass out. Look at a practicing physician, for example. Practicing physician should also take care of him or herself, right? I went to my doctor many years ago, a former doctor, and I went in and my doctor had a sling on his arm. And it was business as usual. He was taking care of me. But my concern was for him. I said, well, are you okay? Are you able to do what you need to do? He said, yeah, I have another hand. I'm fine. What's going on with you? And so he himself had a doctor. And it was necessary for him to go and be checked up. And he did not do the healing of himself or the performance of himself, but he likewise has a practicing physician. So let me go ahead and wrap this up. I know I've said quite a bit today, but listen, since we are in this new year, and here we are in the second week of this new year, if you haven't done this already, please consider these suggestions that I'm making. And actually, I have 6 suggestions. First is, make sure the Lord is a major part of your life. Psalm 127 verse 1 says this, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman stays awake in vain. In other words, out of everything that you possess, you want to make sure you have the Lord in your life. You want to make sure that the Lord is number 1 in your life. You know, employ the Lord. Consult him. Solomon said, trust in the Lord with what? All your heart, and don't lean to your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge God, and he will direct your path. The second suggestion I have for you is schedule some time for yourself. Pull out your calendar and say, you know what? This day I'm going to be off. Those 3 days, I'm going to go away. I'm going to do something for myself. Schedule your time. Don't always allow someone else to do your scheduling, because some people will never schedule for you to take personal time. You have to know enough about you. You need to love you enough to say, you know what? I am going to pencil in, I'm going to ink it in, some time out. And I'm going to get away. I'm going to do something. So schedule some time for yourself. Then the third thing is pick a time to get away from your normal routine. Treat yourself to a vacation. Don't be afraid of that. You know, so many people say, ooh, if I had it like you. I know they don't know what they're talking about. And I say, Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they're saying. Because it doesn't take a whole lot of money. It takes time to get away from your normal routine and treat yourself to a vacation. If you've got to save up your money, you got to collect pop bottles and cans, I don't care. You do what you need to do. You know, if an emergency pop up, don't we come up with the money? Of course we do. We buy what we want to buy. We go where we want to go. We live how we want to live, but when it comes time for us to enjoy some of the finer things in life, we go on a guilt trip and say, I just can't do it, boy, but if I had it like you. Quit telling people if I had it like you. Have it like you have it. Schedule and save and plan and make some phone calls and surf the internet and find what's going to work for you, and then go after it. Fourth thing is schedule your checkups with your physicians, plural. You know, eye doctor. You know, you're having trouble with your vision, your prescription is changing up on you. Don't be afraid. Go to the doctor and say, hey, doctor, this is what's up. Tell me what's going on. What do you see? And don't settle. If they tell you, oh, you're fine, and you know that things are changing, maybe it's time for you to see a different doctor, right? You have to take care of yourself, and sometimes you're the better one to judge. No one else outside of you knows what the inside of you is going through and experiencing. And so if at first you don't succeed with that doctor, try again with another doctor, right? And with your checkups, that should include an annual physical. I know we don't like those physicals, and certain aspects of those physicals, when we've got to either lay down and say joy to the world, or when they say to the men, you know, the doctor says, you know what I got to do? Put that glove on and gets his little tube. We know what's up, but that's all necessary. And so a few moments of inconvenience or a few moments of some pain, it won't kill you. A person say, well, what you don't know won't hurt you, but what you don't know can kill you. So if it is your plan not to die prematurely, then I would say, once again, get those checkups and make sure you get your annual physicals performed. Fifth thing is enjoy your family. Now, some people are tripping out because their family, their biological family, is acting a little, strange, and may not be aware that they are family. Some people are not able to sever their differences. Some people get some information that they got from third parties, fourth, fifth, sixth parties, and they take it as gospel and don't even take the time to talk with their own family. And they find it more convenient to talk with others and believe the lies that other people say. Sometimes people are hating on you, and the only way they feel they can get even is to assassinate your character. And sometimes who do they go after? They go after those who are most vulnerable. Sometimes your children, your grandchildren, your great-grands, sometimes close friends. Someone will spew something out and they say, oh, wow, I can't believe they're like that, or I can't believe they did that. And they hold it against you. And you're trying to figure out how come, you're getting a cold shoulder over here. So that's why we say, when we say enjoy your family are those, not always, who are blood, right? Jesus came unto his own, and his own received him not. So did he trip out? No. He said, okay, if the Jews don't want what I'm bringing to offer, hey, Gentiles, here I come. And the Gentiles like, yeah. We are so with you, Lord. And yes, we accept your offer of salvation. God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever, I am proud to be a whosoever. I'm proud that I'm in that group. Some may say that's the minority. Call it what you want. What I do know is I once was lost, but now I'm found. I once was blind, but now I see. So enjoy your family. And listen, where one won't, someone else will, and they'll do it with pleasure. And don't you know, I'm happy about that today. Lord has brought friends into my life, people who I thought would never perhaps even be in that close proximity with me. But the Lord is faithful like that. So you never have to trip out because someone has shut a door. Listen, the Lord can open doors that no man can close, and he can shut doors that no man can open. And he can bring new family into your life. Thanks God. Thank God for that. And then finally, the sixth thing is live for the one who gave his life for you so that you can have it more abundantly. And you hear Jesus says, I am come that you might have life. So that my peace is left up to you entirely. It's left up to you. Do you want the life? Do you want the more abundant life? Or do you want to just merely exist? I don't know about you. I don't want to just merely exist. I want to live. I want to live every day. I want to live a full life. I want to enjoy inhaling and exhaling. I want to enjoy being able to do things, go places for the first time, and live to tell about it. So listen, this has ended for today. I'm so thankful once again. And again, this talk today was about self-care. Don't just take care of all those other people and all those other situations. Some people take better care of their automobiles, their homes, than they do their own bodies. Something is wrong with that, right? Right? I'm talking to you. Yeah, something's wrong with that. If you take care of all these other things and won't take care of yourself, shame on you. So we've got to do better. And I'm here to tell you, we can do better. let's do it. Let's get the job done. Sometimes getting the job done can be costly, but guess what? It needs to be done. So let's get it done. Alrighty. Listen, it's been a great day, and thank you so much for joining me. May the Lord bless you. May heaven smile on you. And this one went kind of long today because I'm talking about self-care. You know, had I been talking about caring for other people, I would have got through it just like that. But sometimes we try to convince people that they need to just take better care of themselves. Okay, until next time, may the Lord bless you real good. Dr. Preston Ray Winfrey, and thank you for joining me. God loves you, and so do I. And many thanks to Donald Hayes on the saxophone, listening to his CD. That's the music playing in the background. Very fine brother, and with a great sound. Alrighty, got to go. Take care.